Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general. I done told you people, man, if you out here trying to knock these black politicians, you're going to have to do it on your own. It ain't going to come from the War Zone, and it ain't going to come from me. Tonight, somebody got a hit out on Judge Brittney Morris. But get what? The OG got you back. And it ain't going down like you think it's going down. Let's get to it, man. Say, man, I want to welcome y'all to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you. It's always a blessing to have y'all in the building and tell you the greatest audience in the world. I believe that in my heart. Some of y'all a little throwed off, but you know, you the greatest audience in the world. And we love when y'all pop in and hang out with us, man. And ain't nothing wrong with hanging out with two intelligent black people and a crazy black Republican. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Say, man, I'm gonna start it off by saying you can see I got that bounce in my voice. I'm feeling kind of good, but I gotta take it slow. So I look forward to getting back to doing what I love doing. I miss my War Zone morning show, the hottest morning show in the country. Until Rodney Bingham, I ain't gonna tell you when I'm coming back, but I'm coming, big dog, and I'm gonna light it up the first day that I'm there. You can bet that. My main thing is, man, keep donating. If you haven't donated to my girl in Lake Charles, make sure you donate to that baby, so we can make sure she got a great funeral. Melanie Lyons. And we put her away the right way. Donovan, what's going on, my friend?
Well, not much going on, but the same old stuff. If you guys have been following on my Facebook page, I had a question. I was sitting here and I had a question. I was listening to the news. By the way, I was in court this morning myself, and I was dropping dime on people. Yep, I snitch. I do snitch to keep my community in its proper place and where it's supposed to be. But what happened to those $2,000 checks? I haven't heard any of these Biden supporters or vote blue no matter who people. We got to get Trump up out of there. Where are the checks? Are you guys by the post office or something, or by the mailbox waiting for the checks to come, or what's going on here? But in the news today, Donald Trump finally got some attorneys at the last minute that are going to represent him, and they are going to try to partially litigate that he didn't do anything wrong. It's freedom of speech, what he was saying, that, hey, he did, it's irrelevant, what he did, and you're trying to, silence him and all this other stuff. But here's the thing I want you guys to remember, you guys. This is not a civil trial. So it doesn't matter if Donald Trump wins or loses. It doesn't matter. He's out of office. This is all political showmanship to make you guys think that the government is doing something for you while they're doing absolutely nothing. But you guys, woo, yeah, let's go get Trump, whatever. Power does not indict power, and they are not going to set a precedence to do so. Doesn't matter how many lawyers he has or he gets. 45 Republican senators have already said, we don't think he did anything wrong. White supremacy at its finest. Demetra?
Yeah, so Gary, there's a spammer, Joyce Murray, is spamming the comments. Okay, so she gone, y'all. She gone. So anyway, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the War Zone. Glad that you guys could join us this evening. If you could do us a favor and share this live so everybody else can get the information and join in on the conversation, that would be totally dope. And so we're going to hear about some, I don't even know what we're going to call this tonight, but some political chicanery, drama. It's all of that, right? So get your popcorn and something good to drink because Gary, as soon as he comes back to his chair, is going to fill us in on what is going on in the city of Houston.
Say, y'all, before I get started, man, let me take me a shot of Hennessy, because you got to take a shot of Hennessy when you got to deal with the bullshit.
Pass it around.
There's well, here you go. I gotta go that way. There's a lot of BS that goes on when you decide you want to be a politician in the cities. There's a monopoly on who should sit in office and who has the right to be in office, what ring you gotta kiss, and all this shit. Brittney Morris ran to be a judge, and I think it's the 331st, if I'm correct. If I'm wrong, y'all forgive me on the number. Well, Brittney didn't kiss no ring. Brittney decided she would run on her merits. She would run on the fact that she'd been a decent attorney. So she went against a high-powered judge named Darryl Moore, white guy, big member of the Democratic Party. And I'm going to tell y'all how it went down. A couple of days before the election, Brittney Morris needed some help because these folk out here saying they know how to work the polls and all that shit. They take your money, they put crackheads out there, they can't pass out the cards, and it messed you totally up. So the thing was, and you'll understand when I say this next part, she gave me a phone call. She said, I need some help. I'm a political consultant. Where you need help at? So she needed help at the polls. I got my team together. We went to the polls. Now, she didn't kiss the ring. She didn't kiss no ass. She didn't kiss the ring. And she had no shot in hell of beating the dude. And we kicked his ass on election day. She wins. Immediately after she wins, somebody files a lawsuit against Brittney in regards to residency to try to get her up out the seat. Now, you know what's crazy? Hold on a second. I'm looking for something. Somebody that filed a lawsuit actually is about to come up in what I'm talking about. This all is about being a political hit. Let me explain a political hit for you. When you want somebody out of office, you go after them and you try to tarnish the image. You try to make them look a certain way, especially a black politician. We get that all the time. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. It doesn't matter if I work for you or not as a political consultant. If you fuck up, I'm going to come get you. That's how I feel about it. I think I've proven that by being in front of certain people's houses at 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't matter if I'm cool with you. You don't do right, I'm going to come get you. So the thing is, they wasn't successful in getting her out the seat. They filed a lawsuit. It went on, and eventually it had to go out the window because she wasn't in violation. Well, let's go back and let's talk about a young man named Chris Wyde. Chris Wyde was a guy that supposedly blew the whistle on some stuff that Brittney Morris had done unethically. Now, whether she did it unethically or not, which I feel she didn't do it, nobody has asked to go to the state and say she violated her judicial canons. When you violate your judicial canons as a judge, it's not hard to get you out the seat. But nobody's done that. And the question is why did nobody do it? Because Brittney Morris never did anything wrong from the gate. Now, Demetri, if you can, just think about this here. Why would Chris Morris have a problem with Chris Wyde have a problem with Brittney Morris? Brittney Morris worked in an office building. She had an office in a building, a satellite office. Now, I've had a satellite office, so I clearly know what that means. That means I'm not paying for a monthly rent amount. I'll pay amount a month, but I can only use the office for so many days out of the month. I can't go in there 7 days a week. So Brittney had an office in a building that she used maybe once or twice a week. And every day that she would be in her office, a guy named Chris Wyde would stop by the office and shoot the shit with her. Man, what you doing? How you doing? Look, I got this case going on. Can you refer me an attorney? And Brittney be like, okay, I'm gonna refer Gary Monroe to you. Tell Gary Monroe I told you to call, blah, 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 go about our business. So he'll come back next day. He might run into her whenever she was in the office again. And she like, did you get in touch with him? Yeah, I got in touch with him, blah, 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 blah. That's the gist of their relationship. So all of a sudden, Chris Wyde, who works for Jetall, company called Jetall, is asked to testify to corporate and as a corporate rep in a case for Jetall. Chris decides he doesn't want to do it. So the question is why you can't do it, Chris? Well, come to find out, Chris had a felony. And he forgot to indulge that, to tell the company that they hired a felon. So Chris had to separate from the company, whether it was by firing or whether he resigned. Who knows? Who cares? He separated from the company. So Chris separates from the company, and Chris steals a hard drive with some high-powered information on it. This hard drive is floating around the city. Chris trying to sell it for like $200,000. What the hell can be on a hard drive that you can sell for $200,000? It floated around so much it got into the hands of a prominent activist. I ain't gonna say his name, but it got into the hands of a prominent activist who had to tell in a court of law that this guy was running around here with this hard drive trying to sell it. Okay. Allegedly, the mastermind of all this stuff that you've seen on the Wayne Delagapino, me and Wayne, we're good friends. It is what it is. He did a segment on it, and you see a guy come up named Osama. Osama, I can't pronounce his last name. He owns this company, who's had a case in the courtroom that Daryl Moore was in since 2011, 2012. Well, remember, Daryl Moore lost the election to who? Brittney Morris. While the case is sitting in Daryl Moore's court, while he's the judge, everything is going in favor of Osama. Y'all follow me so far? Let me know y'all follow me. I'm trying to go slow. Everything is falling in the favor of Osama. Well, Brittney wins. It looks like there's some issues with the case that might come up. So all of a sudden, Brittney becomes a target because it looks like Mr. Osama may not win this case. So the best thing that you can do is what you've done in the case earlier, which is try to get the judge off the case or get the case moved to another courtroom. Well, we know that he had it moved to other courtrooms because you had the case moved 4 times. You either didn't like the judge or the judge was connected to you, blah, 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 blah. So they wanted Brittney off the case. Brittney said, I'm not getting off the case. I've done nothing wrong. So I have no connection to you, so let's just follow through on it. I'm not going to do it. Well, what they didn't say in the piece that Wayne did is Mr. Osama decides before the elections that he wants to endorse some judges. Now, you good judges out there, I ain't gonna say y'all name on who took the money from Mr. Osama, but Brittney Morris was one of them that didn't. So she doesn't have a financial connection to this dude at all. Mr. Osama, this is a real estate issue, a big case or whatever. I don't want to know the details. And they believe that they wasn't gonna win this case. So Steve Kirker is the guy that decided to put this whole thing into play. Well, who is Steve Kirker? Steve, ain't you the same guy that filed a case against Brittney when she beat Daryl Moore? Seemed kind of strange to me. So the connection between the Kirkers and the Daryl Moores leads me back over to 5th Ward, Texas. The Harris County Democratic Party. All you motherfuckers playing over there with them games, and then you come after certain politicians like you come after anybody. Well, let's see. Am I right or wrong about that? When Willie D wanted to run for District B City Council, you told him he couldn't because he had a felony. But you let Cynthia Bailey run. When Brittney beat Daryl Moore, you say she had a residency issue. You was ready to get her up out of there, filing lawsuits the whole night. But Tasha Jackson got a residency issue. You never did nothing about that. So the whole thing is about who gets to sit in the seat. It's a monopoly to me. And I don't want my friends here to say too much about this. They'll just give me some commentary because I'm going to stand on my own too. And any one of y'all out there that got a problem with me, sue me like I keep telling y'all I got a lawnmower. You want that lawnmower? You ain't going to get no money out of me. I'm going to say what I want to say. Brittney never took the money from Osama, which I think is the best thing that never happened. You couldn't come back and connect her to no money. You couldn't do it. Now, in the meantime, Mr. Chris Wyatt been out there filing fake police reports, talking about his life is in danger. Somebody want to kill him. Brittney Mars don't look like no killer. She don't look like no killer. And the Houston Police Department could not substantiate his claims. The Harris County Sheriff's Department could not substantiate his claims. So you had a female commentator that happened to be on the Della Safino video, but forgot to say something. Well, aren't you the attorney for Chris Wyatt? You're not just the commentator. You're the attorney for Chris Wyatt. So here come the games. Here come the games, man. So what this is going to boil down to, and I think my cohorts can speak on this wholeheartedly. Demetria is getting acclimated to Houston. I want to take her time because it's so much shit here, she'll lose her mind. Donovan is in California. He can say what the fuck he want about y'all. Y'all ain't shit to him anyway because he give politicians the same business I give you down here. You want to put a hit out on a black judge, and you want to use your power to help your friends win a case in that courtroom, but now you have a different judge, and all of the bullshit is coming up that you thought was going to come up that would have never came up under Daryl Moore. So now you want to drag this black judge, not on my watch. Donovan?
Yes, yes, yes. You know, for all you guys that are watching, I know we have some really intelligent people on the thread, but we also have some people that just become political experts every 4 years when the president's running, and they know everything about politics and vote blue no matter who, and you got to be a Democrat because they're for the working people, even though you can't prove that because they're corporatists now if you've been paying attention. But I happen to have ran for office before political office, and my good friend Demetria was with me when I actually started. And here's what you guys do not, maybe a lot of you guys do, but this story is not new to anybody who is actually in politics. When you run for office, the Democratic and the Republican Party's boss machine at the local level decides who they want to run on the ticket. If you are not somebody they want to run on the ticket, they, just like this story goes, they will smear you and destroy you with the resources that come from the state level, from the federal level, and just trickles down and down and down. And that is why this story here makes total sense of how the political shenanigans are played. And it's played like this all over the country. You have a boss that runs the parties, and the party is about the money and the power. So with this judge who won, which really, when somebody that they didn't pick wins an election, it upsets their plan to whatever they contracts and dealings that they have going on. It just upsets the apple cart. So we really, really have to understand who are these political bosses, because these political bosses sit in shadow and they act like they're just this great benevolent person, and they're just, you know, we have a lady here. You would think she's a grandma, the sweetest lady ever. This bitch is a rabid Wolverine. She'll chew your damn head off. But if you meet her, she is the sweetest lady, and she is the phantom menace behind the city of Moreno Valley's Democratic Party. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm not surprised at this story. Demetria?
As I said, it's a lot of twists and turns, people. If you are trying to follow it, don't feel bad. So am I. But I do have a question. So let's, I'll take your word for it. All of it is contrived, if you will, is made up. They're trying to throw dirt on her name. Why doesn't she file a suit, defamation slander suit against them?
First of all, sometimes you don't want to even acknowledge it. See, everybody ain't like me. You come at me and say the wrong thing, and I'm ready to fuck you up on spot. Whether it's in the courtroom, whether it's on the streets or whatever. Some people are not confrontational like that. The way that she feels, and I've personally spoken to her, the way she feels, I don't have to answer to none of that. I didn't do anything wrong. And if I did something wrong, then do what you need to do legally to get me out the seat. So she doesn't feel like she don't even have the time. She said, man, I got to study my cases. I don't have time for all that. So that's the reason.
I mean, because I guess, being a judge is not something, you take lightly, I guess I want to say. And so if they're lying on her, she should file a defamation, or slander suit, because if she is interested in running again, she'll need something, to combat, what they're saying, other than, I don't know if she's ignoring it at this point, or, what her course of action is. Do you know what her course of action is?
Well, see, here's the thing. I just want to jump in there real quick, because remember, when you're an elected person in 1966, the Supreme Court ruled that an elected person cannot sue their electorate. It's part of the job. Now, she's a judge, so she could call a press conference or whatever. She has a bully pulpit to where she can refute all of these allegations. But you technically can outright lie on an elected official, and they cannot sue you. They cannot sue you.
I'll give you an example. I'm not an elected official, but how many times, Miss K, have you told me, ignore them people? When you knew I was ready to blow. When you knew I was ready and I had the proof behind me. Sometimes you just ignore the motherfuckers, because the more you feed into them, the longer the shit gonna go on.
Well, how long has it been going on?
She didn't get sworn into office, I think, until January. So, I mean, this shit just started. After she won the case, all of a sudden she becomes a problem. But like I said, as long as Daryl Moore was in that courtroom and Osama felt that the case was going in his favor, there was no problem. But you knew when the judge switched that you might have a problem, because now you got a fresh set of eyes on this thing. You see what I'm saying? Just like Ahmaud Arbery. Okay, they say, well, nah, let's go back. Let's take it. Let's go to Breonna Taylor. Oh, well, nothing happened. But you got a new Justice Department in there now with a fresh set of eyes that may look at it and say, well, no, I disagree with this. I see something totally different. So when you're looking at these cases as a judge, okay, you got to look at them impartially. So I guess they didn't like some of the rulings that was coming down as she was going over the case, and all of a sudden now we got to get her out of here.
Yeah, so I mean, so what she can do, if she's planning on running for re-election, she needs to, she could get ahead of this and refute all of this stuff and just, and get it out there. But basically, she's a sitting duck by these political parties that want her out there. And, so it's kind of like she's in a catch-22, because yeah, she wants to ignore the allegations, but at the same time, she has to defend herself. So she has to do it in a way to where, because remember, I don't know if she's a Democrat or Republican, but let's say she's a Democrat. She's dependent on support from the Democratic Party to, be reelected in some cases. And, she might lose people that support her financially. Well,
maybe she got Rodney Ellis syndrome and Tasha Jackson syndrome, Sylvester Turner syndrome, because none of them address nothing when you say something they done did illegally. So she might just be playing the way the game been played. So, but she feels in her heart, and she believes that she has not violated one canon. And unless they can prove she violated her canon, I'm a Brittney Mars fan. And I'm just saying it, and I'm not going nowhere with it. Show me where she violated her canons, and it is what it is. It's so easy to tell somebody to resign their seat. But are these people out here screaming for Tasha Jackson to resign hers when we know she violated the law? No. So this is a high-powered case that involves a whole bunch of goddamn money that me and you probably will never see in our lifetime. But we need to get this nigga out of here.
Yeah, and everybody's got to look at it. What's the one thing everybody says on any detective show? Follow the money. Follow the money. Money, it's the whole shebang of everything. I mean, we think of judges, and I know on the local level, a lot of people think of judges like Supreme Court judges. Oh, they're there for a lifetime. No, locally, they're there for a predetermined seat. So, and to be a judge, if you're at the right place at the right time, you don't have to have a law degree to be a judge. If you run at a local level and you get elected, you're a judge. It's as simple as that. And as a judge, you have a lot of power and influence in regards to the judicial system. And they'll usually walk you through, whatever, because you got people there that know how to do it in their career, judicial people. But, the political machine, when they get a person that they don't want there and and this person is not who they picked, they wait till the next cycle to do something to smear them and to put it in your mind that, oh, this person is corrupt. I was watching a video that the 5-star sent me, and initially watching the video, I'm thinking, oh man, this chick is corrupt. She's corrupt. Come to find out, that isn't necessarily true. Yes, she's done certain things with the person, but since she's been on the bench, none of that has panned out. But yet the article in the video depicted it and made it seem like she has all this impropriety on her. And that's what they're going to use to move and try to move her out of that seat so they can put the person that they want in there. And if they do that, you got to ask yourself the question, what's the end game? Why is it that they are trying to get her out of that seat, especially if they're in the same political party?
It's cash money. Money rule the world, man. And at the end of the day, they didn't want her in the seat. That's why they tried so hard to make sure she couldn't be that. But I'm looking at what Aisha Wilson said. I just brought up Sylvester Turner. Well, get what Mr. Turner said today in a phone call. You can vote Tasha Jackson out in 4 years, but he knows she sits there illegally. They want certain people in certain seats. And that's all it boils down to. Does it have anything to do, Mr. Mayor, with all the big money agendas you've been pushing through for the last month? Oh, y'all ain't been watching, huh? You ain't been keeping up. So you need a puppet in there to do that. You see what I'm saying? So, people called for Rodney Ellis to resign over the stolen art. Mr. Ellis ignored it and kept moving. He's still sitting in the seat. You see what I'm saying? Sylvester Turner got caught in flat out lies on TV, but he's still sitting in the seat. What I'm not going to be a part of is somebody putting out political hits, whether it's Turner, Ellis, or whoever. If you are the wrong color and you coming to me to put out a political hit, I'm not doing it with black people. Y'all don't do it to your people. Why I need to indulge in that foolishness? And by the way, because I forgot to say this, money rule the nation, right? You best believe I got offered some money to put a hit on her, to ride the hit. I don't want your money. I ain't doing that shit. See, I already know how folk get on in this town, man. This is a town of deals. And it's all about who can make the most money, which it ain't going to be us three. They ain't gonna never let us make the money they make. They ain't gonna never want to put me in office because I ain't gonna look, school board is what I want to do. Do you understand what would happen if you put me there? Do you understand the type of games that have to be played with school? I had a conversation the other night with somebody. Man, it's about politics and it's about money when you sit on the school board. No, it's about educating children. It's about making sure that our teachers make more money. I don't care nothing about the politics. You see what I'm saying? So because she doesn't want to play their politics, then now we want to go after her. If voting day was tomorrow and she was running, I tell every person on this program, white, black, Latino, whatever, vote for Brittney Morris. She is ethical, and that's the problem with Houston politics. We don't want people that's ethical. We want some flat-out crooks to sit in them seats. Dimitri.
Well, I mean, Gary, you know her and know of her, so we just take your word for it that it's a hit piece, and it's not unusual for people to put hit pieces out. That's what politics is about. Unfortunately, we know people get elected to positions for their own purposes, and a lot of times to be made a rubber stamp. They become the yes men, yes women of the puppeteers actually, and so it's not surprising that there would be a hit piece on her. But if I were her, I would do what I can to defend myself. I wouldn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, but the piece that I saw of Mr. Delfino, anybody who's watching it and doesn't have a critical eye or ear would believe everything that was said. Because when I was watching, I was like, oh, word? Oh, Oh, okay. And that's why in our little message I said, Claude, have mercy. Because it just was a nice polished piece. And obviously I'm a PR. I know how people spin stuff around, but yeah, I mean, I would give it just a little bit of attention and say, it's not true or whatever. And a satellite office is one that's away from your main operation. So let's say I have Demetra K Consulting, which I really do, DemetraK.com if you want to look it up. Demetra K Consulting, my main office is on B Street, but then I might go lease an office on D Street that may be in another town or city or whatever. So it's just an office that operates outside, not necessarily independently, but outside of your regular headquarters, if you will.
Right. And then what's to say that satellite office you rented before you got elected to office? You have a lease. You might have a lease there. So then you went and got elected. Yeah. Okay. This guy gave you money and all, you know what I mean? It just looks like there's impropriety.
Well, it does. It does look like there is. So I guess if anybody's even following the story, I don't know if anybody really is.
Hold on a second for a second. I didn't mean to interrupt you. John Decker, you keep making this comment about crackheads gonna stand. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm dead serious, dude. They got crackheads in the world, man. Man, you keep putting it up there. We ain't talking about that shit.
I see the comments, but I thought maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me. I mean, John,
what are you talking about?
What are you really trying to say so we can help you out, brother? Because I see you saying comments about different things. So what really is your point so that we can just, address it if you don't mind? Yeah, so, I mean, it does seem like there are some improprieties, but they all seem like they got, their hands in nobody has clean hands in that situation from just the stuff that I saw. So, one person can't say, well, you're corrupt, and then you kind of have some corruptness on your plate as well. I mean, I don't even see what the point that the big deal is. Like, as I said, is anybody even really paying attention to it like that? I mean,
but see, that's the problem. Nobody's paying attention. Remember that guy from USC? This guy ran for city council here in my city. Now, remember, I'm dealing with a big developer that wants to build this big warehouse. I mean, my city's inundated with warehouses. And this developer, for some reason, at a local level, has spent in the last 6 years almost $12 million trying to get people in certain seats on the school board as well as city council. And he has been successful. But he spent $12 million more than he normally would have had to spend because of people like me. Now, remember, Demetra, when old boy came out, doesn't even live in the city. He was living in LA. And he comes out. I immediately pinpoint him. And I say, oh, I do his background and everything I get and stuff like that. And, his whole claim to fame was, oh, I played for USC, da, 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 da. I started calling him Al Bundy. I nicknamed him Al Bundy. And this fool, because that's all he would talk about. If you would ask him about anything that was going on in the city, he had no clue, but he was being funded by the developer. So there is a reason why these people want these seats, because all this guy is there to do is to rubber stamp everything that is going on. That is why you guys have got to talk to your representatives about Citizens United. You got to do those things because they have legitimized bribery. And that's what it's about. Unlimited money. How can the average person compete with that?
Well, I tell you what, I done had hit pieces done on me. I had a hit piece done on me, which I think we talked about it before. These people did a full-fledged op-ed on me, called me a misogynist, called me an abuser, called me a rapist. And if you read that shit, you wouldn't even talk to me no more. Well, it kind of went out the window when I wrote an article. And the same person that called me a misogynist and all this here, I posted pictures of me, him, his wife, and his kids. You ain't hear from these people no more. They fell off the edge of the earth. You see what I'm saying? I've had other hit pieces done where people decided they would put out a background report on me and say that I had went to jail for an assault, that I also had went to prison in 2012, December of 2012. Now, December of 2013. Now, watch this. I said, well, that can't be true. Why? Because December 2013, I was in Hawaii. What the fuck are you talking about? So these people do, and all this was designed, and I'm telling y'all, to keep me off the school board. It was designed to keep me off the school board because it's big money floating around that building. It's obvious with the way the feds came in and discovered that they were misappropriating money, like I've been saying for years. You see what I'm saying? But they don't want certain ones of us nowhere near the game. They don't want us nowhere near the game. Demetria, you can sit on any city council, whatever, you're ethical. But guess what? When I knew they didn't want me on there because I had only raised $900, 2 days before the election, we sat in a forum a week before the election, and my opponent said she had only raised $3,000. 2 days before the election, we pulled a campaign finance report. The woman had $60,000. You needed $60,000 to beat a man that only raised $900. You spent every dollar of it to keep me out that building. Now, for the last 4 years, a whole bunch of money been misappropriated in that building. And that's because you didn't want somebody ethical to sit in there. So if I want to believe, no matter who it may be, that puts out a piece and whatever, then guess what we would be right now? If we believe everything motherfucker said in the media, Donald Trump will still be president. He would still be president. I know there was cheating in the election. You see what I'm saying? But the media is what it is. That's why this media platform and others like us are so important, because we either gonna go to bat for you or we gonna tear your ass from the frame. But the one thing I will never do is stand up behind a corrupt politician. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I apologize to the good doctor, Carolyn Shabazz, graduated from Yates, but goddamn it, I was in front of our house at 3 o'clock in the morning one morning. Because if you ain't gonna do the job, you got to go. Brittney Mars ain't did nothing wrong. Them people want that girl out that courtroom so that they can win their case. And goddamn, how long it take for a case to be solved? 2011? It got to be some major money in that shit.
Oh yeah, when you got money, you could put off. And what it is it's the Donald Trump defense thing. You just put it off and keep putting it off, and you expend the other person's money. It's who has the bigger bank. And that's how they get out of this stuff.
I can't wait for Demetria to run for city council. She in Houston. And Al will be the first council husband. And I think they'll run Al out of City Hall. He cracked too many jokes.
That's what I said. He's gonna be the first jester.
Yeah, the first jester. Al's a good dude. But the thing is they would try to tarnish Demetria, and she ain't did nothing wrong. Man, these people around here had them people thinking Demetria is motherfucking Taliban, because they know she got a hell of a shot of winning. So I expect for the hit pieces to come on me now that I got the name recognition in the race that I'm in, and you got to flat out beat me. You just can't. It ain't gonna happen like you think it happened last time. You see what I'm saying? So they don't want the Larry McKenzie's, the Travis McGee's, the Gary Monroe's. They don't want us in these positions. You see what I'm saying? The usual suspects doing the usual shit. I go by the old school today. They got a big old mural painting they got to do by Yates. You gonna put Black Lives Matter over there by our school. You could have put Lions Matter. That Black Lives Matter shit ain't working with nothing, but it's the same old usual political suspects. All of them want the money, and if you ain't about working with them, which Brittney Mars wasn't, she didn't kiss the ring, she didn't kiss no ass, you want her out that seat.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. You guys are like sitting that way when you're involved in politics, and you do what I do, snitching on people, dropping documents and stuff. So when I ran for office and I told my mom what was going on and why I was running, do you think my mama said, well, that's good, baby, good luck to you, whatever? No, you know what she said? They're gonna kill your black ass. We're talking about $4 billion deal that I'm holding up and others are holding up out here, $4 billion. People have been killed for less. The only reason I believe I have not ended up missing is the fact that I'm on social media and I'm a high profile type person, because if something happened to me, the very first suspects would be that developer and anybody tied into that situation. But a good story is this. There was a lady, we just lost our councilwoman, right? This lady came on my show, played the whole game. Oh, yes, I'm for the people, this, that, this, right? 1 week before the election, we pull her 460s to see where her money's coming from. She took a whole bunch of money from the developer and became a rubber stamp. She took the money. She just took the money. And we told her, you need to tell the people you took the money and just be done with it, right? She didn't want to do that. That lady, 42 years old, died 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago. And so sometimes you got to look at this stuff. This is a serious game. This is a serious game. So if you're going to be out here dealing with the devil, and it's like I told the 5-star before we came on the show, it's not that Donovan won't take the money. Dimitri will tell you, I'll take the money. They just haven't met my quota yet. You know, they haven't met the threshold, but I will take the money.
It's a very unethical game. So I think the question will be, how do we get the ethical people into office? How do we continue to get the good people into office so we can get the games out the window? Because in Houston, man, it's so messed up. Kamar came through the door and they went and fought for legislation to change, because a lot of guys that were like police shootings where they shooting unarmed citizens, nobody had a clue that some of the people that's sitting on the grand jury were cops. You know, a cop ain't gonna convict a cop. So it's a whole lot of stuff going on. And like you say, the developers play a big part in all that. You know, the Texas Real Estate Agency, I would challenge anybody that's an elected official in Houston to unleash your campaign finance reports and show us you don't have money coming from them. Because if you ain't got no money coming from them, you ain't supporting gentrification. But I guarantee you a whole bunch of them getting money from it. That's why we see all these goddamn condos going up in our neighborhoods and ain't nobody fighting against them. You know, you got folk out here fighting in our neighborhood right now. Al, listen to this. They do not want a strip club on OST. But how many of you elected motherfucking politicians that had strip clubs and nightclubs all over the motherfucking hood? The address sit on the corner of 288 and OST. I remember Floyd Mayweather was out there one night buying food for everybody. The problem was the club wide open. The club wasn't open. Club ain't had no permits, no nothing. But they knew this was going on. So if they ain't making money off of it, they want you out the building.
Well, now that we've gotten that established, why don't we change the subject just a little bit? Let's talk about some hot topics, perhaps that are that's trending. If you guys don't mind, I believe that Brittney will be just fine. I mean, it's a story with no legs, you know, like a cat with no legs. Where is it going to go, right? So, I mean, not to make cat jokes, Donovan. I know you're sensitive about people talking about
it's just like a cat, Donovan. Some fucked up pussy.
All of that. All right, so I want y'all opinion about Tiny and T.I. Tiny and T.I. find themselves in some hot water, right? Tiny and T.I., you guys know they have an album. They both are two iconic groups and all of that kind of stuff. They've been accused of sex trafficking, sexual assault, holding guns to women's heads and stuff, and all of the above. So right off the rip, from what you fellas know, you guys in the comment section, do you think they're guilty or not guilty? Gary?
They freaks. Everybody know they freaks if you're in the music industry. You know, the only problem I got with the whole thing, I don't feel that they're guilty. I feel people grown, they're gonna do what they want to do. But once you can't get to the money no more, then all of a sudden it's all a problem. And that's just the way that I feel. You know, like I said before, people went out there and R. Kelly this and R. Kelly that, but y'all ain't had shit to say when Jay-Z was fucking Foxy Brown and she was 14 years old. You see what I'm saying? So I just think it's about the money. But I also think that, Tina, you need to talk to your crazy ass partner, because she didn't make it no better for you when her ignorant ass got on there and did that goddamn shit on Instagram. You know, at the end of the day, man, if you're gonna be in entertainment, it's a lot of shit that come with entertainment. That's a wild ass lifestyle, man. And if you know the history of T.I. and Tiny with popping the pills and all that, why you even fucking with them? Why you even dealing with them? You know what it is. I don't believe it. I really don't care. Because I know how nasty and freaky them motherfuckers is when they in the middle of the entertainment business. So if you want some ass, just show up with a bag of aspirins and tell them it's something else. They'll give you some pussy.
Absolutely. Look, I don't know what it is, but like, everybody thinks like Atlanta is this great place, but you hear all of these stories of things that go on in Atlanta with the stars and all that other stuff. Right? And I think T.I. and Tiny are based around Atlanta, right? And I used to fly in there with the military at Dobbins Air Reserve Base, and people tell me they got these sex clubs, and I mean just Sodom and Gomorrah there. So I believe what the girl saying has happened, and and these relationships and these different constructs have happened. But she sounds like a jilted lover to me, that maybe they cut her off the money or something, and now she's trying to get some clout. That's how I feel about it.
Well, why they don't never snitch when they getting the money?
Well, it's hard to say. Let me ask y'all opinions about this. Black Lives Matter, they have been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, the Nobel Peace Prize has been around since 1901. They give it to scientists, doctors, and people who go about the business of peace. Some dude off in the parliament somewhere.
Donald Trump, I would have got the Nobel Peace Prize, but I told him not now. I'm the president. I can't do it right now.
Right. So some dude in Norwegian somewhere, I don't know, said that because they have brought so much awareness to racial injustice, they should be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, we know people like Martin Luther King have won it, Mandela, and everybody in between has won this award. Now, we know that Martin Luther King has actually done something, right? Like, we know he's got some tangible results. Mandela, being in prison for 27 years, coming out and being the first Black president of South Africa and helping get rid of apartheid. I think that's a game changer. But
did he get rid of apartheid? You were there. You saw it.
Well, like the technical sense of it. I ain't talking about what we saw. I'm talking about, like the legal part of it that he got rid of, okay? Now, what has Black Lives Matter done? It's besides bringing awareness to, because did we not already know that racial injustice was a thing? Did we need them to tell us it was a thing? So do you guys think that they should be nominated? And if so, do you think they should win it?
Well, I can tell you this. Black Lives Matter got a bunch of people hurt, ass whooped, arrested. Let's see. Millions of billions of dollars misappropriated. Let's see. Yeah, let's give them an award. Let's give them an award.
I don't think they deserve a goddamn thing. If you're gonna give that type of award out, why you don't give one to the DARE program? They made us aware of the dope. They ain't do nothing to try to stop the dope. Black Lives Matter. I think if they give them the award, then now we know who to fucking go after for not doing nothing with the money. This the biggest issue I got. The award ceremony is tomorrow. They've nominated them. They're going to give them the award. Who going to pick it up? Where your motherfucking corporate office at, man? Who the president of the organization? Black Lives Matter is not an organization. It's a funk-ass movement that I don't cut for any fucking way. That's why I have a problem with putting that shit on the street in Third Ward, Texas.
It's kind of like, yeah. It's kind of like the WWE Hall of Fame. Where is that? Where is that located? But they give out these Hall of Fame things and nominate these wrestlers to the Hall of Fame, but yet, where is it?
Well, you can go down to youth football, American youth football. Little league football. They got a Hall of Fame. Where the fuck that motherfucker at? I don't know where it's at. And somebody asked us what we think about Stacey Abrams' nomination. Did she get nominated for A Nobel Peace Prize?
I've heard that they're considering her for it. I don't know if she's actually nominated.
For what? For peace. Can I get my award? Can they give me something in wood grain for trying to keep the peace? I don't feel Black Lives Matter should get shit. We got enough people hurt fucking with them.
I think she got it for helping to turn Georgia blue, if I'm not mistaken, you know, being pivotal in the election results there in Georgia. Now, in my opinion, does she deserve? See, I'm kind of like, I don't know, simply because, all right, you turned Georgia blue. You helped turn, you know, she largely had a lot to do with it. But what did you turn Georgia blue to do? Now, if we're talking specifically about Black people, how does that help Black people? Now, the other thing that we should also remember is that's when that great blue lie was told. And if you guys turn Georgia blue, the checks will go out the door immediately. And I asked on my page, can somebody define immediately? Because it's been 12 days, right? So like, where does immediately fall? And so what does she turn Georgia blue to do? That's what the question we have to answer. And people from all walks of life are pissed off with Joe Biden and Kamala and that administration because they feel like they've been duped and lied to. And even still, they're negotiating. Now, this is the other funky part of this whole situation. When Trump nominated Amy Coney Barrett, did they get the buy-in from the Democrats? Hell no. They went and nominated her, even though, you know, RBG was like, you know, on her deathbed, please don't do it. And they was like, yeah, screw you. And they did it anyway. But here Joe Biden is, he's negotiating. He's trying to, I almost called him the N-word. What you need to negotiate for? You got the House, you got the Senate, you got the executive pen. What is you asking them for?
And you're running out of time. The midterms are coming up. You're running out of time. So you better jam whatever you need to jam through right now.
Yeah, so there's people who are like, okay, so let's say when they finally do get to the negotiation process, it's going to take weeks for them to get the checks out. Now, that doesn't indicate immediately. So he lied. He lied. And so you turn Georgia blue to do what?
Well, can I ask you this? It says the Nobel Peace Prize. Turning Georgia blue has nothing to do with peace. Now, I'm not a Trump fan. None of us here are Trump fans in the aspect of being fans and all that other crap. But didn't Trump pull the troops out of the Middle East, the majority of the troops out of the Middle East? Did not the Trump administration negotiate peace contracts with Israel, with some of the neighbors in Israel? Wouldn't that, I'm just saying, like I said, I'm just saying, wouldn't that be more of a qualifier for the Nobel Peace Prize?
I just, you know, like, and Bobby, how you doing, Bobby? How you doing? You say government is not an immediate process. Okay. This is where I say, cut the shit. And respectfully, I mean that, okay? Now, Joe Biden has been in office for damn near 50 years. If anybody should know how government works, shouldn't it be him? So why did he, Kamala, Warnock, and the other cat, I don't know his name, and everybody else in the Democratic Party get their lying asses on every stage in Georgia and said the $2,000 checks, now it's $1,400, the $2,000 checks are coming immediately, as soon as you guys do it, immediately. And so now that's not the first time I've heard that. Oh, well, it takes some time. It was a lie when it came out of his mouth. And guess who bought it? Y'all bought it.
Well, maybe they meant immediately, like Dollar Bill. Because, you know, if Dollar Bill said immediately, then Dime and them knew they weren't going to get their money that night. So I don't know why they could, you know, I don't know the criteria that's in place for a Nobel Peace Prize. But I think that if you want to give a Nobel Peace Prize to somebody, give it posthumously. Why don't you give one to Malcolm? Won't you give one to Edgar? You see what I'm saying? I mean, Meg Evers. Won't you give one to him? Won't you give one to the soldiers? Won't you give one to the minister who preaches peace every single day? What they need to be worrying about is reparations. We don't need to do no study on it. You just need to put the numbers together and send us our money the same way you sending us this $1,400. But you ain't had a problem making sure you take care of the Indians. You ain't had a problem making sure you take care of the Jews. But when it comes to black people, you got a problem with that. And if Stacey Abrams represents peace, can you tell me why they still hanging black people in the state of Georgia?
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought.
Oh,
no. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, yeah, and those are the tangibles we're talking about. Like all the stuff that we've heard is symbolism. And I'll tell y'all, boy, I swear for God, I don't swear for God like that. But I just don't understand the ideology of Negroes. He is a proven liar, just like Trump is a proven liar. And we want to say stuff like, well, he's only been in office. What are you guys going to say in 3 years? He's only been in office for 3 years. Give him a break. I mean, these are the things
they're waiting for him to lose those seats so they can blame the Republicans for obstruction.
I mean, but I'm just saying, you know, if you going off of what he and Kamala said, I mean, damn, the $2,000 checks should have already hit everybody's bank account by now, but he up in there trying to be buddy. Well, those are his buddies, but he in there trying to negotiate. It's like, come on.
You know, and speaking of reparations, now you guys remember California passed the reparations bill. It was signed into law. It's not supposed to be a study, right? I contact the majority leader here in California, who's a good friend of mine, and I say, hey, what is going on with this bill? Now, the lady that you will see in newscasts on YouTube that was saying, oh, this is not a study, it's not HR 40, we're going to do this, and do that. She just got promoted to Secretary of State. The bill is now being championed by a guy down in Compton, in that district over there, over there. How many of you guys know that Compton now is predominantly Hispanic? Hispanics are the dominant people in Compton. They're taking over, y'all. They're taking over. And y'all into the immigration and, oh, yeah, we got to help everybody. They took over Compton. They're the dominant thing over there. But anyway, so this guy got it, right? And he's the leader of the Congressional Black Talkers here in the California Assembly, right? I call his office yesterday. I did this yesterday. I said, hey, what's the deal on the bill? I asked my questions. And they didn't even know what I was talking about. So I end up calling the Secretary of State, Mrs. Weber, Dr. Weber, who was a former person. And she goes, oh, no, we're going to look at it. It's we're kind of studying what to do. I said, what do you mean? You said on these videos, this wasn't a study. I said, cut the fucking check. She said, well, the parameters are this. So here's what they're doing. By 2023, this study is supposed to be over. Okay. I asked her, I said, well, who's been appointed to the board? Because if you guys need somebody, the California Speaker of the House, he can appoint 2 people to the board. I said, well, I'm available. Well, we haven't really got to that yet. We're still formulating whatever. I said, well, look, Miss Dr. Weber, I do not want this story buried. But see, this is what we keep talking about. They give you this symbolism and they get your hopes up. And then we as Black people do not follow up about what they're doing. All of these civil rights icons and people who fought in the civil rights movement, who benefited from the civil rights movement, telling us what we should be doing. And I'm going to ask you guys this. Since our moms and dads and these Black bootlicks that are in Congress, where's their generational businesses that they're handing down to the next generation? Where is this generational wealth that they're handing down? They're failures, and they know it. But we got to do our work and kind of keep these people accountable, because they're going to bury it, and that's what they hope to do. And when I got on their ass and they found out who I was, they were like, okay, we got to come up with some answers. You damn right.
Okay, I got one more thing to go around for y'all. We gonna do like our edition of Around the Horn, like on ESPN or whatever. Yeah, we doing Around the Horn tonight. Okay. So did y'all right? And how you doing? Edward Norsworthy from Compton. How you doing at YouTube? So anyway, did you guys hear about the 9-year-old girl that was pepper sprayed? Did y'all hear about that, Gary?
Yeah.
So she was pepper sprayed. A family called the police because she was having a mental breakdown, and I guess she was wanting to harm herself and her mother. And so I don't know exactly who called the police. And as you guys saw in the video, it's very hard to watch. The police handcuffed this 9-year-old baby now and put her in the back of a police car. And she's crying. She's asking for her dad. I want my dad. I want my dad. And the police officer, the male police officer, was like, just pepper spray her. Just this sprayer. Just pepper spray her. And so, she's hysterical. And finally, they pepper spray her. She's screaming, saying, my eyes, I need something for my eyes. And they closed the door. And he was like, he said something like, oh my goodness, or something like he was just, police officers completely annoyed that this 9-year-old is hysterical behind being arrested, right? So my question to you guys, everybody, is, do you think it's wise for Black people? Now, I'm not saying you should never call the police, okay? I ain't saying that. But do you think it's wise to call the police on your loved ones who may be having a mental breakdown? Because, as history says, the police don't come to say, hey, little girl, what seems a problem? Let me see if I can help you. They come to do harm. So what's your guys' opinion on people calling the police on their Black people, calling the police on their loved ones who are having a mental breakdown?
This ain't the time. You can't trust the situation. You're going to have to deal with it the best way you can at the house, because if they show up, it may go the wrong way. 9 times out of 10, it will go the wrong way. I just have a problem, and I've spoken on this several times in Houston. Why you got all these white boys patrolling our neighborhood? Let me tell you something. We know how to deal with our people. Why is it that every time we look at the news and somebody getting pepper sprayed, whether they 9 or 99, senior citizens getting thrown on the ground? Why is always the white cop throwing the Black people? Why you got all these white folks patrolling our neighborhoods, man? They don't know how to deal with us. You got these folk that's police officers that don't live in the neighborhood. They're not familiar with the community. So they don't even know how to deal with. If you're a cop and you got a pepper spray a 9-year-old kid, you don't need to be a motherfucking cop.
Yeah, here in California, a lot of the cops are becoming Hispanic. So it's not even the white cops that are patrolling the areas anymore. It's the Hispanics that are, getting involved with the Black folks. And now, whatever this Black and brown coalition that doesn't exist, but you folks that live in areas where there's not a lot of Hispanics and a lot of Blacks, you guys think it does, and it really doesn't, because these people are at war. Demetra will tell you, you had whole schools closed down as the Black kids and the Hispanic kids are getting into it, in their gang, whatever they're doing, and fighting in the schools and stuff. But they've started a lot of legislation here in local cities to where cops now have to live in the cities that they patrol. And let's give a good example, like South Central Los Angeles, which is a lot of different cities. They're giving like bonuses if you live in those cities. And a lot of the white cops are like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
We need more diversity in our police forces. That's something I've been studying, and the comments that I'm making, if y'all can look at some of the papers I've been writing the last 2 weeks, and because this is what I'm studying, police relations in the neighborhood, that the biggest problem, no matter what age we may be, is the fact that you got too many police officers of different nationalities trying to police Black neighborhoods. And when they show up, we're automatically the angry Black man. Just like if you're a big dude like me, don't call the cops on me if I'm having a mental breakdown. They're going to kill me, because they're already scared when they see my size. You see what I'm saying? But what cop, Demetra? Come on. 9 years old? 9 years old. And you can justify that shit? No, they should be terminated. Don't let them resign, because they get to keep their pensions. Terminate them on the spot. It makes no goddamn sense to pepper spray a 9-year-old kid.
Well, so this happened in Rochester, New York. And LaShawn, thank you for pointing that out. I actually did a story on the African Diaspora News Insider. It hasn't posted yet, but I did do a story about it there. So it was in Rochester, New York, and it was actually 3 police officers. The one that did the pepper spraying is suspended, and the other one's on administrative duty. But to me, okay, now the other parts of it too is the police officer was telling her, the little girl, stop acting like a child. Told the 9-year-old baby to stop acting like a child. And you know what the baby told them? I am a child. So I think the other part that we need to look at is police officers don't view our children as children. They view them as adults, you know, which could almost explain, and I would, bet everything, the Tamir Rice situation. They didn't see Tamir as a child, which he was. They saw him as a grown man and didn't even give him a 2-second chance to even know what happened to him. And so, we see that a lot. But, as far as calling the police, I just think we as Black people are in a catch-22, if you will. Because if you are in danger at the house or somebody's, maybe off their meds or something, you want to get some help. But then it's like, damn, if I call the police, because we saw it was in Texas a couple weeks back, didn't we? The older gentleman who was having a mental breakdown, and they called the police and they shot him right there in the yard, shot him dead. And so it's like, what do you do?
Well, since you bring up Tamir, and I'm going to go around the horn, did you see the story where the police officer that killed Tamir had still been allowed to play on the public servant, whatever you call it, football team? And what they did is they hid his identity from the other players until yesterday, when some players walked in the building after they figured out who he was and told them practice is over. No, you're going to get this dude up out of here. Now, he wasn't on the field, but they knew he was in the building because his car was in the parking lot. What y'all think about that?
Well, I think he should be shunned. He should be shunned. He shouldn't be able to go about his life as though he didn't murder, in cold blood, wholesale, a child. No, he shouldn't be able to just walk around, free as a bird. Yeah, the man might have let you off, but that don't mean we got to let him off. And I think they did the right thing by not, participating with him. I think they should do that wherever he goes. You are not welcome here. Hell, they do it to OJ. OJ can't walk in some places, restaurants or whatever, without them saying, we won't serve you here and shunning him.
But George Zimmerman can.
And yeah, but see, that's what white supremacists do. But I think people, especially people who murder children, it was, come on, we've all seen the video. There was nothing Tamir did wrong. And Ohio is an open and carry state. And so what if he had a gun out? It was legal until they proved him not to be. So he murdered a child in cold blood and he thinks he should just walk around footloose and fancy free? Nah.
Well, in Tamir's Rice case, he didn't comply with the officer's orders. So, when you don't comply with the orders, which...
But he didn't have to. He didn't have to comply because he was in an open carry state.
Right. What I'm saying is, I'm playing the devil's advocate thing here. If you arrive on the scene in 2 seconds, how many orders can you give within 2 seconds and you start shooting as the police officer? But we have to look at it this way. The Lord will carry us through. We got to turn the other cheek. And we got to be, prayerful and mindful, Demetria. You just so, when you dead, Demetria, when you dead 5-star, you're going to get that nice mansion in heaven and a nice Mercedes and all that other stuff. But until then, endure the hell you're going through right now.
Well, also, too, this is what I wanted to say. So the president of the police union there in Rochester was like, and I'm paraphrasing, well, this isn't Hollywood. This isn't scripted. This is something they're, doing at the spur of the moment. So there's really no, and I'm paraphrasing, protocol to how to deal with this situation. And I'm like, well, why do you need to deal with a 9-year-old at all in that manner? Like, what happened to sitting her down and maybe saying, hey, let's get her some ice cream or something to see, you know, if we could talk to her and see if everything's okay. But I mean, and then not only that, they was, you know, pushing her all up in the snow, and, you know, it was just a lot. It was a lot. So
I think when we look at the news and we read the newspaper, why is this only happening to Black children? You would not do that to them,
you know,
if they were another color.
It keeps, listen to me, y'all, listen to me good, okay? It keeps happening to Black children because we keep allowing it to happen to Black children. We keep electing officials, politicians, or whoever that don't give a damn about Black people, even if they are Black themselves. That's why they keep doing it. They know we'll get mad for 2 hot seconds and then go back into our house until, because, you know, before it was just the men. Then it became the women. And now it's the children. Hell, there was a child in Target a couple weeks back that got rolled up by the po-po because somebody in Target thought he was stealing. Had him arrested and all. So, like, it happens because we allow it to. We keep on, and I know somebody's going to get mad, but I don't give a damn. We keep electing people like Jim Crow Joe to go to the White House to continue what he's been doing to Black people for 50 years. And then we sit up and say, oh, well, is somebody going to help us? What else going to do now? Nothing. They're not going to do nothing for you because you don't ask them to do anything for you. And you keep electing the same old people who turns a blind eye to them abusing your children. There's no way in hell those police officers would have done that to a white child, an Asian child, and probably not even a Hispanic child. But they do us any kind of way because they know we ain't gonna do nothing.
Well,
that's
well, Dimitri, you know, a white child could mow down a bunch of innocent people, and you'll take them to McDonald's, you know, and have a sit down with him.
I was thinking the same thing. Darlin' Roof, you take him, get him something to eat.
Because
you hold hours in the car until after they stop feeding motherfuckers at the county jail. Then you show up, you gotta wait 7 more hours till lunchtime.
Because they know that white boy has a community of people, even your Kyle Rittenhouses, that went to Kenosha and mowed those people down. He got on a $2 million bond. Those white folks raised that bond for him, including Ricky Schroeder, a Silver Spoons, put in his $250,000. So those white people have a community, whether they are right or whether they are wrong. They have solidarity. We do not have that. We fight with people like Ice Cube, who says, I have $140 to $60 million. I don't give a damn what happens to y'all down there. But he took his ass to Joe Biden and Trump, and guess what Negroes did? They only saw the fact that he went and talked to Trump to get something for Black people when he's already got a slice of the pie. Kaepernick, he sacrificed his whole career, and Negroes can't stop watching football to get on the same page. And so that's why those white people keep getting off, even though they take their ass into a church like Dylan Ruth and mow down 9 people who were already praying. Go get a hamburger, and you know what those Negroes did? We forgive them. We don't even want him to face the death penalty. That's why they get away with it, and they do our children the way they do, because we are, I hate to say it, in some regards, a laughing stock, because we are only satisfied with the butter biscuits and the head pats from Massa. That's all we want.
Well, a lot of people may get offended by your statements, but I mean, I think what you're saying is the truth. We see it every day. I mean, you can't get mad at for people speaking their truth, and it's not just them speaking what's on their mind. We see this happen every single day. Every day, we're not treated the same. You had a bunch of people invade the Capitol, but the Black man ain't got no bond. Hold on a second, man. He didn't put his feet on Pelosi's desk. He didn't take her laptop and try to sell it to the Russians. He was there. but he does not have a bond. Where's the Congressional Black Caucus?
He's a dumb Negro, first of all. For one, I did a story on this too. So what happened was he was supposedly a homeless guy who was just happened to be in the melee, but there is a video of him swinging a bat at the police officer. And so he should be a prime example of Black people. When you see white people wilding out, go the other direction. That is not your business. Let them tell whatever they want to do, because your Black ass is going to hang on the meat hook while they're getting out, going home to their mamas, even after stealing Nancy Pelosi's computer and trying to sell it to the Russians. See, when we as Black people realize our position here in America and realize that none of these laws were meant to benefit us, then I think we'll be better off and realize, well, damn, we all we got. But we keep looking to be treated like white people. They wanted to treat us like them. They would not have snatched our asses up from the shores of Africa and brought us over here and treated us like cargo. They would, so they're never going to do that. But when they're going to do that, when we cut the bullshit and start getting on the same page and start going for the same goals and start going for self-liberation, that's when reparations will come in. That's when justice will happen.
With all that I saw that happened at the Capitol, I find it truly amazing that you could identify a homeless man that was swinging at the police, but you can't identify the motherfuckers that killed two of them. You can't identify them, and you put him in jail, which I totally agree with you. That wasn't our business. And I got some white friends, and a lot of y'all watch this show. That was not our business. We ain't have no business over there fucking with that at all. I don't care what people tell me, but you can identify this man, but you've never identified anybody that killed them two officers. That's bullshit.
That's probably,
you did it.
Yeah, and that's probably because of the people that killed them. A lot of the people that they arrested, these people make six figures. One lady went up there as real estate on a private jet. So, they don't want to mess with that money. But
I'm pretty sure that the District of Columbia has a law similar to the state of Louisiana that if you incite a riot and people are hurt or killed, that you would be the person that's prosecuted for it. They locked my partner up in Lafayette, Louisiana, because they said he incited something, gave him a 14-year sentence. So until they convict Donald Trump for inciting a fucking riot, they need to get that Black man a bond and let him go home.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. But I see a few people are getting lit because I said Black people love oppression. Now, I'm glad you guys are getting upset, because if we didn't love oppression, we wouldn't be doing the stuff that Demetra just pointed out. If you didn't love oppression, why the hell is Sheila Jackson Lee occupying a seat for over goddamn 30 years? If you didn't love oppression, why is Maxine Waters sitting in the goddamn seat for damn 30 years? If you didn't love oppression, why does your neighborhood look like shit? But you telling me, hold my roll. Hold my roll.
Hold on a second, big homie. Because you in California, I'm down here in Texas. And get what I'm going to do? I'm going to co-sign you. If you don't love oppression, then 3rd Ward, 5th Ward, Sunnyside, South Park would not look the same way it did 30 years ago. Our streets and our neighborhoods, you will tear the axle off your fucking car trying to drive down Cullen Boulevard. But I could take a trip right across the freeway and hit River Oaks, maybe 3 miles away. The smoothest ride you'll ever take. The crime is not that high. Northeast Houston, I've said it 1,000 times, 64% higher than the national average when it comes to crime in one neighborhood in Houston. And you motherfuckers that out here celebrating? No, he's right. You like oppression. Oppression comes in many different forms. And the only way we can get rid of oppression, you got to put the right people in office. When you keep putting them suckers in there, we're going to keep being oppressed.
Yep. And let me just finish my point. If you don't love oppression, why the fuck you dancing with the people that oppress you, police force? You never saw me out there dancing. If you don't like oppression, you in the line supposedly to vote, and you dancing while you in the line, putting one of the main oppressors in the last 50 years in the top office in the damn country. but I got to know my role. I got to know my position.
Well, you know, they be singing them hit songs when they go to the voting polls. You know the one I made a platinum song. Oh, nigga, what you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, it's tight, but it's right. You know, it's just a fact. I mean, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And we can prove that Black people, overall, majority of Black people vote for the Democratic Party. And I'm not a Republican either, so you know, don't go that way with it. But we, the majority of us vote for Democrats. The Democrats have done nothing for Black people. Y'all saw Joe Biden stand his old decrepit ass up there when he did his acceptance speech. It says, Black people have stood by me, and I'm gonna stand by you. But what does that mean exactly? Is you gonna take your ass in there and sign on the dotted line to give Black people reparations? Is that what that means, or is that some more symbolism? And so you guys that voted for Joe Biden, voted for him and didn't demand anything. When people tried to enlighten you about who he was, oh no, you just hate. Oh no, we gotta get Trump out of there. Oh, we gotta vote blue no matter who. I don't care. It could be Kermit the Frog. It could be your mama. It could be mama. I don't care as long as it's not Donald Trump. And Biden gets in there and he continues the same things for the most part that Donald Trump is doing. Now, is Joe Biden overt with his racism? No, he's subtle. You know, you know what else he did? He went in there and he had a stack of executive orders and not one of them had Joe Black ass in it. Not one. And so when you say, well, I'm not voting for oppression, look at it. Did you vote for oppression? Did you, as Black people specifically, get anything? You guys heard him tell those Black leaders on that hot tape, hey, the gig is up. I'm in control. Matter of fact, not only am I in control, the Mexicans are in control. You guys need to listen to them because they outnumber y'all. So you guys do vote for oppression and then cry about the results. I just don't understand it. Like, what's wrong with you?
Fayette Bowie, one of our loyal listeners, let me put a comment up. It'll block you a little bit. Even though Blacks are oppressed because of the curse, we can do better to make life better for our people so we can coexist equally with other races. I totally disagree. There is no equality in this country. Let's get that straight. No matter if it's on a personal level, an educational level, a political level, there is no equality in this country. The bottom line is, whether people want to accept it or not, these folks do not want us here. And since we are here and we're a burden to them, you're going to get what we give you, and that's all we give you. Now, you may feel that I'm wrong, but show me I'm wrong. Show me I'm wrong. I tell you about education all the time. You steady sending your kids to them fucking magnet schools. The magnet schools were created to circumvent Brown versus the Board of Education. They were designed to make sure that white people could go to school with their people. So why you think it's a lottery in most magnet programs where you got to go through? What the fuck you mean I got to go through a lottery to get my kid in a decent school? No, there is no equality in the United States of America. We have to accept that. You know, our skin is our sin. I'm going to leave it right there. Final thought, Donovan.
My final thoughts. Again, thank you guys for coming into the realest conversation on the net. Please, if you guys don't want to vote for oppression, I need you guys to contribute to Jerry's fund for the school board. And we'll put the Cash App up, $1, $2, $5. You know, I mean, that's your, you know, that's a couple of cigarettes of weed, whatever you guys do. Just, you know, just help the community out. But if you want change and you don't want to continue to keep voting for oppression, we need to get somebody who isn't going to play these political games with our children's future and put them in a position where they can be successful. We keep putting these people that get in there, they don't do a goddamn thing. I'd rather have somebody in there that's passionate about my child more so than they're passionate about the money or the office that they hold. So you guys, let's get Jerry where he needs to go. And then and we're not going to wait for, somebody else to solve our problem. Let's solve our own problems.
Final thoughts, Ms. Demetri?
I'm going to go with Jonel's comment. He says, the only curse is our ignorance. My people are destroyed due to their lack of knowledge. And the other part of that says, and their rejection of truth. So not only do we lack knowledge as a people, but when we get the truth, we don't want to hear it. We reject it. Nah, that's not what white people told me. That's not what Joe Biden and them told me. When you can see it in black and white, you don't want the truth. And then when you get what you thought you wanted, you don't want it no more. So when wisdom and knowledge is going forward, and even if you don't believe it, take your ass to Google. Listen and say, well, is there some truth to this? Instead of saying, I don't want to hear it because it's y'all, not y'all, but them over there. That's messing up the rotation for the rest of us who are actually trying to get something. I'm done.
Well, I want to address Ms. Fayette Bowie's comment on my final thoughts. So, Gary, don't you fight to get equal access to education? That is what I'm saying. What I'm trying to tell you is I fight to get it, but I have to expose the racism in the process. I have to tell the truth that there is racism in our school district, and it's always been there. So, I want to say that on February 27th, we're going to do a virtual fundraiser for my school board run. So we won't be in a set spot. We'll do it virtually. We'll have a candid discussion. We're going to do this every month. Some kind of way we're going to do it every month. And right now, the word on the streets is it's going to be hard as hell to beat 5-star this real. It's going to be hard to beat me because I told y'all 4 years ago what it was. They did exactly what I told you. You got one more shot with me. If I don't win this time, don't expect me to run no more. And my people need to understand one thing. I can't win unless I got the money to play the game. I'm just telling you. I'm not telling you to donate $500. Man, come on there, donate a couple dollars. Dollar here, dollar there. It's all going to add up. My campaign, my finance manager, she's on top of it. The money's in the bank, ain't been touched that we raised last time. We got some things we got to do, so we're going to have to touch it. But I don't even deal with the money. I don't need to. But I will tell you this here. I'm going to shoot that video. They want that video for the election run. Me, K. Reno, and my man, Ruben Moreno. See, that'll tell you me. I'm finna do a song with a Latino Zydeco artist. Because I know where the good music at. Now, I want to tell you tomorrow night, you don't want to miss this show for one reason. You know how they talk bad about our kids? All they want to be is sports figures or they want to do music. I met a kid at 5 years old, played Little League football for me. We did some great things. We played for national championships, the whole 9 yards. The best in the country. They'd never seen nothing like it. And we had to go to national championships. And one night he say, Coach, we need to do a song. I say, you do music? He said, I want to be a rapper. Well, this will prove to you that sometimes kids know exactly what they want to do. So he did. Hell of a football player in high school. Hell of a football player. But he wanted to do music. His mama got behind him. And I will tell you, he inches away. He signed to 1501, the same label that Megan is signed to. And tomorrow night, he's going to grace the screen with us. We're going to talk a little football. We're going to talk a little music. But what we really want to talk about is a kid that knew exactly what he wanted to do. And he just needed somebody behind him to push him. I congratulate his mom. She's been there from day one. He had a bad deal before. Called old coach because I don't leave my kids. When they stop playing for me, they steal my kids until I die, they die. And whatever I can do for them kids, I'm going to do. So tomorrow night, Stunner Bam going to be on the show, man. He's going to be here with us, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to talk to a youngster that has exceeded, he's exceeded their expectations. And he signed the 1501. God bless him. and he's a fabulous young man. So these the type of kids we got to celebrate, man. These are the type of kids we got to celebrate. And we'll come back Thursday night with my man. All y'all that's here now, you need to be here Thursday night if you want to know how to get that stock money. You want to get you some GameStop money? Walter Couture will be in the building. With his
we have an El DeBarge on the show.
Tell Al pop in the screen. He looks just like El DeBarge. I think he one of the DeBarge boys on the cool.
Exactly. He's just 6'4". That's all. 6'5". You know.
Yeah.
That ain't what I asked for.
Say, man, y'all know what it is, man. Say, man, it's another spirited discussion by the best in the business. Y'all know what it is. It's the war zone. They try to emulate us, but they can't. And you know why they can't emulate us? For one reason. We tell the truth. And it's the hard truth. Every night. I got something I want to tell, but I can't tell it until after Melanie Lyons' funeral. And I'm going to tell the truth, motherfucker. Say, man, I want to thank my good friend, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general. You suckers out there, keep your mouth off of Brittney. Keep talking about Brittney. Maybe I might start talking about y'all. You don't want that. Say, man, until tomorrow night, we'll holler at you.